many of you here, when you leave school, you would like to land up in your dream career and make your loved ones proud of your achievements? By show of hands. Thank you. And how many of you here, you would like to leave an impact while you're achieving your goals and dreams into the society? By show of hands. Thank you. Welcome to my talk, Sustainability and Youth. Thank you very much, DPSChandigarh, for inviting me today here. And I'm very grateful, that I could be here with you, sharing some of my ideas about sustainability. Before we go any further, I would understand, what is sustainability in your world? What is that you think, sustainability is for you? And as you think about it in your mind and make some notes, or you speak out some answers, I would like to reach out here for a couple of moments. And I would like to pick up something, which is a watermelon seed. Yeah, right. It is not watermelon, it is mango. Whoever said, thank you for helping me out here. Now let's say, if I put this into the soil, I put some fertilizer, and if I had water, and I put some water into it, thank you. Oh, yeah. Give me a round of applause for helping me out. Thank you. And of course, some sunlight. What do you think will happen after a few days? With the soil, the seed inside it, some fertilizer goes into it, and sunlight and water, what do you think after a few days will happen? A mango sapling will come out, eventually it'll grow into a plant, and then eventually a tree, giving fruits to a lot of us. Anybody here, you're a mango lover like me? Oh yeah. The interesting part is that this seed has to go into darkness for a good number of days before it can become a sapling, then a plant, and eventually a tree. So that is one of the definitions I think is about sustainability. And the same comes back to you guys, that if you figure out your journey, and if you can sustain your journey in terms of the career and the path you will choose, it will lead to sustainability for your loved ones, your relatives, your friends, your community, your city, your country, and for the entire planet Earth. And this is the reason, somebody who was willing to go into the darkness for a good few years was able to create something called edible plates. You can use these plates, and it is biodegradable. Even if you don't want to eat it, you can put it in the earth and leave it. Somebody was able to create, cutlery, which is edible. Anybody here, you heard about edible cutlery? Yeah. Now you need to understand, it didn't happen in just a day. Somebody was willing to be in darkness for a while before they could figure out the answers to create a bag which looks like plastic, but it is not really plastic. You can actually eat it. So there was a journey of darkness for at least a few months to a few years before they could find the answers. And I want to show you the darkness I went through to become the speaker I am today. I have authored 6 books by now, and I had the privilege to share the stage with some big names, as already mentioned, Tony Robbins, Robert Kiyosaki, Shiv Khera, and I can go on and on. I've done more than 900 plus workshops in the last 30 years of my speaking career, and I love teaching. Most days I'm somewhere sharing my knowledge and my message so that people can become their better version. And obviously it cannot be done if you don't have a great family supporting you on the journey. But life was not always like this for me. And I want to take you a couple of years back into my life. When I say a couple of years back, I mean 44 years back. Your maths is good. Yes, I'm 44 years old. I was born and brought up in a city called Calcutta. And we, as a family, my parents and my sister, we used to live in a one-room house in Calcutta. My father was a taxi driver, and my mom, was a full-time housewife. They can't read and write, they're illiterate. And they figured out, the next generation life to be better, their kids needs to get educated. So they wanted to send me and my sister to a private English medium school. Obviously, they did not have enough funds. They took some help, and somehow I was chosen over my sister to go and study in an English medium school. And that's how I'm able to communicate in English right now. Otherwise, my journey of being an international trader would not have been possible. So all these things I'm sharing with you, one-room house, living in Calcutta, financial difficulties, They were not my personal challenges. My personal challenges were different. I was a bit of a chubby, overweight boy when I was growing up, and I became the target of being laughed and teased around by my peer group. And my biggest pain, my biggest darkness, which has helped me to become the tree I am today, I am a mixed child. My dad is Punjabi, very fair in complexion. My mom, she is Bengali, very dark in complexion. I'm a fusion of North and East. And I grew up with the understanding of people around me that there is something wrong with me as a human being, that I'm not pure enough as a human being. And all these voices which was given to me that I'm a dull, dumb boy, good for nothing, it became my voice. It became so strong inside me that at the age of 16, I wanted to kill myself. I wanted to cut my nerve in the middle of the night and die. But then something else was waiting for me, and I got introduced to a talk like this many years back. And that talk inspired me to understand that the ability for me to change my life and become somebody is within me. And since that day, I've never stopped learning, never stopped growing, and I love, teaching and learning in my life. And if you plan to stay on that path of learning and growing, you can eventually, become that person you want to become when you leave school from here and bring sustainability, not just for yourself, for many other people. And also, the journey can be unique for the person we are. If you plant a bamboo seed, it takes years to come out. If you put a fern seed, it takes a few days to a few weeks to come out. So everyone here, you need to understand, your journeys are unique and they are different. So for some of you like me, it might take a few years before you figure out how to become that person which you plan to become. Now I believe, the only reason the youth cannot be heard about the great ideas they have is the way they communicate their ideas to others. How many of you here, you get great ideas on a regular basis? Yeah? In whatever topic, whatever subjects you are in, we all get great ideas, The only thing which might be lacking in my understanding is the ability to communicate it effectively. And that's what I feel that every human being must learn, how to communicate effectively from stage, which is called public speaking. How many of you here, you want to make a lot amount of money, when you leave school for your career? Yeah. Warren Buffett. How many of you here know Warren Buffett? Great. I'm sure you know that he's the richest man in many different layers. And he regards his training of public speaking as the best training he has ever done in his life. He couldn't speak in public many years back. He learned it like me, and he can do it now. So those of you listening right now, you got to understand that what I'm doing right now doesn't require any talent. The only talent you require, you already have inside you. You have a voice, you speak. How many of you here, you speak to your relatives, friends, colleagues, teachers on a regular basis? Yeah. So the talent you need, you already have. It's a skill you acquire over a period of time. And the best part of skill is that it's learnable, it's duplicatable, it is repeatable, and sustainable for your life once you learn it. And it gives you immense leverage in your life. It will bring in a lot of income for you. And this is what my understanding is, that anybody can become a public speaker, and they must. Why? Because public speaking is the biggest fear known to mankind. I can tell you, there are a lot of big speakers going to come and speak, including me. We have nerves, before we get up on stage. But they have found a way to maneuver their way around it, and it can be done by anybody. And once you overcome the biggest fear known to mankind, I believe that anything else you can achieve in your life. So I've got a 3-step formula by which anybody can become a great communicator on stage. So how many of you here, you would like to learn it, and you would like to be on TEDx in a couple of months to a couple of years' time? Great, thank you. So this is what my understanding is, that for you to be a great speaker on stage, you really have to perform well. How many of you here, you agree? You understand? Performance is very important. Completely wrong. And that's where the problem starts. Yes, 10, 15, 20%, I would agree that it can be performance based on your topic, but 80% of what you do from stage is not performance. And the more you think about performance, the more you make it about yourself. The more you make it about yourself, the bigger the challenge becomes. And for you to be successful in your life, I would say, figure out your why. Why you want to get into that career, why you want to pick up commerce, why you want to pick up non-medical, why you want to become a journalist. The more deeper you go with the why, your how will become more and more easier as per research. Maybe this is a bit far-fetched for people who are in 9, 10, 11 standard, but as you stay along on the path, you will realize that your career, obviously you have to find it, but at the same time, the career will also find you. The more you understand the why, the easier it will become for you. So if you're not performing Amandeep, what is that you're doing, Well, something you've always been doing from the early days of your life. Like Vinayji shared, about his son learning a new word. So this is what you need to do when you're on stage. It's conversation. That's exactly what I have in my mind right now. That's exactly what I thought about when I was here last night. And right now, in my understanding, in my world, I'm doing a conversation with you guys. And the more you approach it that way, you'll be at least at 1 or 2% ease compared to when you want to perform on stage. Obviously, it's not a conversation, you can do with your parents in a living room or with a friend on a FaceTime. It's a structured, prepared, value-adding conversation. What conversation can I do from the stage that will add value to the lives of the listeners in front of me? That's what the first piece is about. Don't perform. Come from a place to have a structured, prepared, value-adding conversation. The second piece is going to be very, very interesting. If you get this, your nerves on stage will completely kind of go away. How many of you here, you would love it? When you're on stage, there's no nerves. Thank you. So help me understand, what is written on the slide. It starts with R, it ends with Y. It's okay. Good effort. Give us a round of applause for making an effort. Come on, give us a round of applause. Come on, people. Thank you. Do me a favor. Everybody raise both your hands. Give yourself a hug. And repeat after me. I'm a human. I would not know everything. And I'm okay with that. Thank you. I have designed it specially, just like that movie, Three Idiots. It's a mumbo jumbo of letters, and I'll tell you what it is. But before that, I want to take you into my history a little bit. And that was my name given to me by my dadi, my grandma. And because my parents are illiterate, it was misspelled. Because of all the confusion, what I did, I rebranded and repackaged myself in 2000. You have that power to rebrand and repackage yourself at any point of your life. And I went from Amandeep Thind to become the Amandeep Thind, which I'm today. If you go into my reports card, you will be not just impressed, but you'll be super impressed. My teacher took a different color pen to give me marks, Yeah, you can understand I kept failing in my school and college days. Somehow cleared my exams and became the graduate, and the masters I have today. But there's something interesting I'm going to share with you, which made me the teacher I am today, is this particular skill. Everybody take a deep breath in, let it out, and observe the magic. Yeah, the more you know it, the more you experience it, the more you become it. So for me, it is almost like second nature now to do public speaking, because I've been doing this for 12 years now, and I've done more than 900 plus workshops. And I'm the same guy whose heart would have popped out of his body when he was told to speak almost 13, 14 years back. That much of nerves I had. So my friend, don't preach. Become the message. And when you do that, you become a very interesting speaker for your listeners and for your audience. And more effectively, you can communicate your message. More effective, your ideas will come across to people, and more sustainability can be brought in your life and in the lives of other people. Okay, so this is 2,000 rupees notes here, which you can see on the screen. And if there's a way I can magically pull this out, have hard cash in my hand, how many of you here, you can see a value in 4,000 rupees? You can use it for something nice. Canteen mein, yeah, chocolate, patties, yeah, great. Now let's say, imagine if I crumble the note, 4,000. How many of you here, you can still see the value? I'll give you another imagination, right? If I put it in my mouth and put my saliva on it, how many of you can still use it? I know it's dirty, you will use a tissue paper, yeah, or you might outsource it to somebody. And if I put it underneath my feet and crumble it further, how many of you here, you can still use it? Thank you. So where I'm going with this, in your journey to create sustainability for yourself and for others, you will have to go through quite a few rejections in life. I'm being modest here, maybe more than few. And no rejection is personal in life. Let's say if you're selling a clicker, or if you want to become an expert, in something, some people say that you cannot become. They're just rejecting you for who you are in that moment. So you go back, you learn, you become better, you come back, you can create those things. So understand, rejection is an integral part of your life, and it is waiting out there for you in the world when you leave school. Even you get it in school. How many of you here you get rejected on a regular basis on something, from your parents, teachers, on a few things? Yes, it's a part of life. So the final P is, don't take rejections personally and make it final, because you can always improve your game, go back and get better marks in your exams, or crack that interview, or whatever that is you after, it can be done. So I call this the SKIPS concept, the 3P formula. You don't perform, you don't preach, and you don't take rejections personally. When you do that, you hit this beautiful spot, which I call the communicator's zone or the speaker's zone. How many of you here, you would like to communicate effectively your ideas to the world? Thank you. Then follow the 3P formula, and when you can speak effectively, you will do something amazing for your audience. How many of you here, you understand that it is very important to grab the attention of your audience when you begin your presentation? Thank you. We call this attention grabbing technique BRQ. What is BRQ, Amandeep? It is very simple. As the name suggests, benefit revealing question. If you go back to the beginning of my presentation, I said, how many of you here, you would like to land up on your dream career and make your loved ones proud by show of hands? I was applying a technique. I did 2 questions with you and got your attention, because that's what you're after, most of you. And that is one of the most amazing ways you can grab the attention of your audience, which means ask great quality questions, give them what they want from you, and you are in the game of having their presence. Because most people, or pretty much everybody, we always ask this in our brain, what is in it for me? WIIFM. So when you give them what they want from you, you will get their attention, and you're in the business of speaking. And if you can speak, my friend, you can influence people. And if you can influence, you can bring sustainability to the world. Thank you very much for having me today. Thank you.